Makes you feel better, Wolf. I've lived in Toronto and near Toronto my entire life, and I have not once gone up the CN Tower. It is the biggest thing in the damn skyline. I refuse to go up it because I hate heights, and it also has a glass floor. So you're not alone there.
But at least it doesn't have a glass ceiling, much like this podcast.
That's right.
See, I didn't expect the glass floor, and so when I got there,
they actually updated that. That's fairly recent. So
yeah,
nobody expects the Spanish glass floor.
The Spanish Inquisition floor.
Yes.
Yeah. I freaking
Spanish
burned myself.
Inquisition floor.
So
like that.
So
I burned myself this week. I am ready to.
Wolf, did we ever figure out who's hosting?
Wolf. Jake just kind of decided it was me.
Don't blame me.
Well, because he was away, and so I just sort of got the blanket thrown at me. It's fine.
Normally it's the guy that's not there that gets voluntold.
I was trying to lose that Canadian dictator reputation from last year. That's all.
Oh.
Sounds like you're getting it right back.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It's back, baby.
Wait, what about dictators? That's gross.
Wow. And I'm the supervisor.
What are you doing to my potatoes?
Wow. Potato.
Are we live on Twitch?
I don't know.
We're live on everything.
We're
have
a team.
I may be slacking, but I
don't know. Where have you been, Chris? I don't know.
Get out of my head.
Take on me.
Well, I'm just
making
sure.
They were winning a few minutes ago.
Do I not follow us on Twitch? Yeah, we're live.
That's water polo, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a big time water polo fan.
Frozen
water polo, technically.
The reason water polo failed is because all the horses drowned.
Oh boy. Damn, it's tied.
Just getting all these jokes out before we do the intro. That's the way we do things. It's all good.
Intro. I'll intro when I'm dead.
Wow. I'm gonna call my playthrough of Dead Space this weekend Feliz Navi Dead Space.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty good.
Nothing says Christmas like necromorphs.
You gotta do a thumbnail with the Dead Space guy with the Christmas hat on. That's what you gotta do.
I probably will.
Yeah.
I got some pretty killer thumbnails. One of my videos has 133 views already.
Wow.
It helps.
I know.
it's crazy.
Crap. I know people here are like, fucking, good luck with your 133 views, nerd.
Is that what somebody commented? Really?
No, I have no comments yet.
Oh, okay.
Nobody gives a shit to
say. We get no comments on our channel, which for those watching, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe.
Yeah.
That's you. We're talking to you.
Yeah, that's right.
Me. I like and subscribe every day.
Doug.
Every time I subscribe, I unsubscribe.
We're talking
I thought we were talking
Douglas.
to Jared.
Douglas and Jared. They're brothers.
Okay.
My one kiddo, was it last month? She told me, it's like, I help your podcast. I subscribe. Like, oh, that's great. Yeah, I unsubscribe and I subscribe every couple of weeks. I'm like, thanks, kiddo.
That's why our numbers keep changing.
He's giving daddy a stroke when we go down one subscriber. What do we do? What did I say? And then it's back up a week later. That's my kid.
Nice.
That's hilarious.
By the way, welcome to Press B After Dark, where we just bullshit for an hour.
Look, I got a second webcam. I can put underneath my desk like we were talking about. Make it that Patreon only cam feed under the desk. I can just do that. That's fine.
I've got one too. We can all just go full foot cam and get kicked off of YouTube.
I like what Sinstrich just said.
It's not, but I'm sure you are putting my kids through college and views and stress with physics. So thank you. Mammy's putting my kids through college.
That's right. All right.
Whenever you're ready, Wolf.
All right. It's not Super Mario or Jurassic Park. Best game of 1993. Today on.
It's Unforgivable.
Don't unforgive over the intro.
Unforgivable was Metallica, wasn't it?
No,
It's also a Clint Eastwood movie, right?
Unforgiven, too.
It's also Unforgiven 2 and
And 3.
Unforgiven 3,
There's a
which
third
is
one.
What?
Because you're
It starts out-
unforgiven.
oh my
3.
God. 3 starts out so pretty and then turns into trash.
Well,
Who stars in it? Not Clint Eastwood.
Metallica.
Oh,
Unforgiven
The
3
Metallica
song.
songs.
There's 3 of them.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Too.
Okay.
He doesn't listen to hip hop. It's fine.
I
Yeah,
think
listen.
I think
When-
I think
Whenever you're ready.
I think it's been long enough that Unforgiven has one of my favorite lines in it, and it's where I think it's Christian Slater kills a guy, like shooting him like 16 times or
Unforgivable.
something, and Clint Eastwood says, "You sure killed the fuck out of that guy."
It's a good line. It's a strong
Yeah.
line.
Remember, like and subscribe, please. Anyway,
We'll get monetized
beautiful
one day.
segue.
We'll get monetized one day until I say, "You sure killed the fuck out of that guy."
All right.
You
Fantastic.
use that in the trailer. All right.
So I am your host today, Werewolf, and I am joined by Sinistar, Sick Jake, and Chard Monk today. How you guys doing?
Swell.
It's Friday.
I'll leave it for the comments.
And today we are doing a game of a year. So this week we're doing 1993, and of course it may not be 1993 where we're from when it was released, but it originally released in 1993 according to Moby Games. That's
Thank
what
you,
we're
Moby
using.
Games. Yeah.
Moby Games.
Moby
So-
Games fuckery. Every time we do this, I get
If you
upset.
if you have a problem with our dates and years, go yell at Moby Games because that's where we're getting our source material right now. Okay.
Alrighty. Who wants to go first? Who wants to provide what their submission is for best of 1993?
Runner up, right? We start with runner up.
Runner up first. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I can go. I can start. So just to clarify, just to make sure, because I've had issues with this in previous versions of this episode, it's 1993. The E backwards 3.
It's not Legend
Okay.
of Zelda. It's
Okay,
not Legend
84.
of Zelda.
We agreed we're not doing 84. You guys didn't want to do that yet. It's 93.
Correct.
This is
Okay,
9386, right?
Just want to make sure. 9386. Okay. So when I looked at the list for research for this episode, because that's the thing I do. First off, what a really packed year for games. There's a lot here. And I couldn't be more surprised to see how much Sega was on this list. It is packed with Sega games. This has got to be one of the best years for the Sega Genesis.
Yes.
Not only just Sega Genesis,
payday.
but RPGs especially. There are so many fantastic JRPGs on the Genesis. One of the things that people kind of criticize the Genesis for being is a machine that doesn't have that many role-playing games, but it had a handful, and a lot of them came out in 1993. So it's a pretty awesome packed list. My runner-up is Mega Man X for the Super Nintendo, and I'm bringing that up because GP is not here this week. He hasn't been here for a while, but I think we all know how much GP loves Mega Man X, and if I didn't suggest GP's Mega Man X, I fear he's going to riot. So we can't have that. So we're picking Mega Man X as my runner-up. I haven't played it really, so I'm going to pass to you guys. Let me know. How's Mega Man X? Is it good?
Well, I'm going to say that when GP did it for my birthday, I think last year, it was fantastic.
That's fine. No, I could totally I can now fit in another game that you stole from me. Thanks, Jake. No, this is going to be a running
What?
joke, and I see that now.
No,
No, it's fine.
This
That's
is a
totally
GP
fine.
pick. It's fine. It's for GP. It's for
Is it
GP.
pick?
It's
Is
a
it
GP pick.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's funny because I don't know. I think I mentioned I was going to pick Mega Man X because I used to speed run it and because
Yeah.
GP's not here, I was going to say, but that's fine. No, I could squeeze.
I guess I
there's
wasn't
a game that
listening. I'm
needs to
sorry.
have some love. Shocker.
Are you serious, Jake?
Hey, Jake, I want to point out that when
Did you really?
told us what
Wait.
you were when you told us what you were picking, it was not this.
I think he listens a little bit, but just enough. It's like
Just enough
it's like
so the
my
kids don't
tone
fall
of
off the
voice.
stepladder.
My tone of voice doesn't carry in Canada except for certain facts.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it doesn't matter where it's coming from. It's almost like when you talk to your dog and you say sit, and you're like, why did you do this? And all the dog hears murmur, 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 this. That's kind of what I feel like our conversations are between Jake and I. So that's fine. It's okay. I'm going to save us a sub. So don't worry. Fucking guy.
I will say I have played a little bit of Mega Man X, and it controls fantastically. The graphics, the sprite works are amazing. Soundtrack is awesome and stellar. I kind of never really got into the franchise. I was always more of a classic Mega Man fan, but I can't help but respect the controls in this game are pretty solid. I guess my only negative is I sucked at the boss fights because it kind of forces you to use the Mega Buster. So I was kind of pitching it to you guys. I know this game is liked by a lot of people, not just GP. Is there anything else about this game that is like a standout?
This game takes Mega Man to a whole nother level of gameplay. It is fantastically done. It is beautifully done. It's got a great story that goes with it. And you're introducing the Mavericks, which Mavericks are really cool. They're the animal-based mechanoids, like as opposed to Dick Cheney. That's exactly what.
Yes.
Are you talking? See, again, not listening. Anyways, I used to speedrun this game quite a bit way back in the day. I also watched a lot of people speedrun this game because it's a great freaking game. Jake's right. The controls are super smooth. The animation's great, and the soundtrack fucking rocks. It rocks.
Yeah,
this is an absolute banger of a soundtrack. I've actually had myself humming what's the Eagles theme song in bed. Storm Eagles theme song in bed. I'll be like, what is that song from? Oh shit, it's from fucking Storm Eagle. Because I've been playing that game far too long that those songs get stuck in my head on repeat. But no, Mega Man X was a great improvement on the original. Since we did get like Mega Man 8, I think fell on the Super Nintendo. I don't know if it ever came to the States or not. It was a 7. And it just kind of fell flat. I didn't think that Mega Man was very good. So Mega Man X is kind of like the pinnacle of Super Nintendo Mega Man's, in my opinion. That's my opinion. That doesn't you have to agree with me on that?
I very much agree with you. 7 actually came out after X, which is wild because it's nowhere near as good.
It's not.
And 7 sucks.
And
like 7,
6 came out the same year as Mega Man X.
Really?
That's right. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That's right. And when Mega Man X originally came out, we all thought it was 10 because of the X. So we're like,
I knew some
where the
who were
other
like
5
10. And I'm like, it's not 10, it's X. They call him X in the game.
Yeah, it's Mega Man 10. He's 10. He's 10 in the game. No, Mega Man X is and it's the start of a really strong X franchise for at least the first 3 games, and then everything beyond that's kind of like bleh. But no, big Mega Man X fan. So much, in fact, I almost made that my runner-up. But I'm glad
never would have guessed.
The shout out. Yeah, I'm sure you would.
Amazed.
Wow, what a week. Anyways,
well, Char, do you want to go next before somebody steals another one?
Fucking hate it here. Yeah, I'll go ahead and save a sub too. This was not my original pick, but I have been gushing about it, and it deserves to be on this list, whether it's a favorite or not. I have very long, great memories of reminiscing about playing this particular game on my PC, bringing it home. My dad spending literally hours to try and get it to work on my Pisario, my compact Pisario all-in-one Windows 3.1 piece of shit drive. And somehow he made it work almost every single time. But I'm going with Doom because you can literally play that on anything. You can play Doom on anything. You can play it on a pregnancy test. You can play it on your phone. You can play it on the brand new Nintendo alarm clock. By the way,
it plays on our new bidet.
It plays on the bidet. It plays on the bidet. It plays in your mind. It's fucking Doom. It's Doom. It's Doom. How could you not have a Doom game in a top best games of '93? Sure. Doom has done so much for first-person shooters and just in itself and its name and its own programming. It's a great game. So Doom is hanging out, and I'll be Doom guy. I'll be Doom guy this episode. I'm cool with that. Doom needed to have a shout out, so thank you for not stealing Doom from me. If I stole that from you, Cinestar, I apologize.
I would never steal your picks. I don't
in my plan. So
you're good.
Probably a Bard's Tale. Doom plays on Bard's Tale. So I mean, it's everywhere. It's on everything.
You want to talk about
Any's coming.
soundtracks? Doom
Any's
soundtrack is also iconic. That's like one of
Dude.
these PC soundtracks. And for how early of PC gaming it was, that's a pretty epic soundtrack.
Absolutely. I mean,
Get your bingo cards.
It made Quake, it made Half-Life, it made so many of these other shooters that followed it. I mean, we had a whole episode between the argument between which would be possibly better, would be Doom or Wolfenstein 3D, right? We had this whole thing, and Doom just carries a lot of weight. We did,
we did an
that's what I said.
episode
We had an episode about that. Man, it's fucking murmur episode. Murmur. Did we? Murmur.
It's my
Dog
Canadian
listens better than
ears. What
you.
can I say? They're picking up French half the time. I can't help it.
Jesus Christ. In
Oh,
Quebec.
do I need to learn French? Is that what the problem is?
We play Doom in Quebec, but
Quebec?
that's Doom.
Parlez-vous
fucking
flacon
Wow.
Parlez-vous français?
Voulez vous coucher avec moi? Ce
Ce
soir?
soir?
Eh,
It's,
There you
you've
go.
already passed grade 4 French. Good job, guys.
Have I? I better not be saying that at grade 4 French because my ass is going to jail. But anyways, yes,
No,
Doom.
Doom is a fantastic pick. I mean, it added on to Wolfenstein in the fact that it had traversal up and down. I mean, once again, I mean, yeah, it's just fantastic all around.
I love
You
how
know.
you say the feature it has is looking up and looking down. That
No,
people
no,
don't
I mean,
realize.
No,
honestly-
traversal.
Honestly,
It has-
traversal
it
has
up
different
and down.
It has
planes.
tunnels too.
Have
Oh,
you
okay.
tried tunnel?
Have you
Gee,
tried traversal?
It has tunnels.
Which-
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's hilarious because while it has planes, it technically doesn't.
Well, for shooting it doesn't.
Trains
For
and
shooting,
automobiles.
yeah, for shooting it does not.
Visually, it does, but for shooting, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But
right. So
it-
you can't look up and down in Doom. That was later on, I think. Right. That was
Yeah, that was
Duke
Quake.
Nukem or whatever.
That was Quake.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Quake.
Yeah. All right.
But it does have traversal of levels. Like there were platforms that would lift you up and take you down and all of that stuff. So yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
game.
well,
Fucking
while
Doom.
Doom would
Yeah.
not be my pick, I do recognize that is probably one of just the games of 1993. So that's a good pick.
Word. Thank you.
All right. I'll go ahead and throw my runner up. Again, this is another one that is not necessarily one of my favorites, but it's another one that I recognize just how important it is to gaming. Star Fox.
Well, there you
Jeff is going to stay subscribed.
That's
We've
this
got
episode.
two
We're
subs.
saving
No.
the subs.
But I mean,
Bringing them back.
I remember the magazines were going nuts about Star Fox when it came out. The kids
Yeah.
I knew were going nuts about Star Fox. I like the music.
Yeah.
Star Fox is great. That's a great.
No, Star Fox is awesome.
I mean, I've
Is it?
beaten Star Fox. I've beaten Star Fox 64. I've beaten Star Fox 0. It's not my favorite. I've also beaten Star Fox Adventures. Not my favorite franchise, but I have appreciation for it.
But have you
I
beaten
understand how
Star
much
Fox
people love it.
Traversal or Star Fox Sparkling?
I just want to point
Sparking
out
Zero.
Star Fox is a fantastic game because it does have tunnels.
Does have tunnels.
Mode 7
Fair.
tunnels, right? Or not? It's not Mode 7. What is it?
No.
Oh, it's the FX
No,
chip.
it's Super
It's the
FX chip.
FX chip. Yeah.
Right,
Super-
right. Actually, you know what? Was it? You know what? The last game to use the FX chip was European release. It's Winter Gold. It's like an Olympic sports game, and it uses the FX chip, and it actually looks legit like a hidden gem.
Hmm.
Well, maybe it's a hidden over here. Maybe in Europe it was all the rage, but sorry, tangent. I want to talk about that game at some
Can
point.
you do barrel rolls?
Yes.
In the bobsled, maybe if you do it wrong. I bet you we could. Maybe it's something to try
Or-
out.
Or
Some
very
dude in the
right.
back screaming at you named Slippy. Keep your helmet on.
Yeah, I will say I was absolutely terrible at Star Fox on Super Nintendo as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm still not that great at it, but I think when I beat it on Super Nintendo, I needed save states.
Mm.
But
I had this thing with Star Fox with like when I was growing up, I like indestructible environments, right? Most of you guys already know that. So when Starbucks like had the ability to lose like your ship's wing, I was like freaking out over it because that had been like something so new to me. Like, oh my god! And you're like limping half your planes like all cattywampus as you're still trying to fly. I was like, what? I just lost my wing. What's going on? Like you didn't have any of that in the past. So because it was all polygon, it allowed for more, separation on stuff. So I thought that was a really cool aspect.
It gets a T-Rex wing. It's like a little guy.
Yeah, it's like a little
stump. Yeah.
Grab my strong wing, child.
I mean, you cannot deny that Star Fox was a big step up from stuff like Afterburner and Space Harrier. So
hell yeah,
sure. Yeah, actually, it was I know people loved
rail,
Afterburner,
but it didn't feel like it was on a rail.
So. Yeah,
what's that?
I understand people loved Afterburner, but Star Fox infinitely better than Afterburner. Like I may not like either one of those back in the day, but we couldn't have Star Fox 64 without Star Fox on SNES, and it's that one franchise from Nintendo. I'm always weird why they don't actually give it another game entry. I don't know why they keep doing the reboot thing. I kind of want them to go back and give it its version of Metroid Dread. I want them to go back to it, and they haven't done that in forever.
I mean,
I don't think they're going to do a reboot. I think they'll just do Star Fox Collection, and it'll be all three of the original game,
all rebooted.
I was going to say I feel like Descent is honestly kind of a little bit of a spiritual successor.
I could say that if Descent is full 360 motion. Right?
It is. That's why I say spiritual successor.
That's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah. There's a lot of tunnels in Descent.
I love that game because it's all tunnels.
It's all tunnels.
All tunnels.
Nothing but fucking tunnels.
Jake, this is the Jake shakes his head the entire episode.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
He's been over here fucking pilfering people's picks. Try saying that 3 times fast.
I was doing this for GP. This is the GP pick. I was sacrificing my pick for our good friend GP. So I don't know why you're so salty about it. I didn't know it was your pick. I didn't think you'd pick for GP.
You know what this is?
He said it in an MP earlier this week. And he said it before we recorded.
You know what's funny?
All the time.
In my line of work, this is the remembrance of this is like Jake is my supervisor and I'm like maybe his top assembler, let's just say. And I built something and I showed him how to do it. And now he's coming in front of the entire team to show everybody how to do it because he figured it out. That's how it feels like.
You made this?
Okay.
I made this.
Yeah. Want to see what I did?
It's pretty cool.
I'm celebrating our friend. Not that Chart had anything to do with it at the beginning of this week. No, I'm doing it for our friend, even though Chart might have mentioned it in an MP, and he's being called out by the 3 other hosts on this goddamn show.
But why are you complaining? You got to do Doom. You're saying you had all these games you want to talk about, and you got to pick an extra one.
No, I'm good.
Great.
I'm happy.
Right. You're welcome.
All right, so my runner-up.
You know what else isn't on rails? This fucking episode. Because it's off it. Way off.
Yeah. So my runner-up is Sam and Max Hit the Road.
Okay.
LucasArts game, absolutely fantastic. The creator that LucasArts hired and brought in wrote it as a comic book, and then it basically was turned into a point-and-click adventure. It's clever. It's unruly. It's vulgar. It's all these things. It's about a dog and a rabbit that are a detective agency, Sam and Max.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Sam is the dog, and Sam is kind of this like almost film noir style. Like he talks like, we're gonna, hey little buddy, kind of those things. And then Max the rabbit is the guy that likes to turn people inside out. And in fact, at one point he does turn someone inside out.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Okay. Some of the one-liners, like you go into a restaurant and Sam walks up to the the manager or the person at the counter, and he says, my little buddy needs to use the facilities. And Max says, facilities be damned, I need a bathroom. And that kind of stuff. But it's one of those where it's both clever and absurd. Like some of the puzzles are just absurd. You don't understand why you're doing them until you're done with them. Like there's a ride that you have to get on that shakes everything out of your pockets so that you can go get something else out of the lost and found, because you have to go collect your things out of the lost and found. Right. I mean, it's that kind of thing. There are mini games in this that you can unlock, and once you've unlocked them, you can do them anytime, including one that's I think it's called like car surfing or something like that, where you have to like jump over street signs, like the big billboard style street signs as you're driving. It's just front to back. It's a great game. Honestly, I think it's held up. Telltale did a series after it. It's a Sam and Max series, but in my opinion, Hit the Road is kind of the best of the bunch. But yeah, one of the LucasArts classics. We've talked about other LucasArts like The Dig or Loom.
The Sam and Max games are games I've wanted to play for a long time and just never have. And I have some of them on Steam.
Yeah. Those might be the Telltale. Go ahead.
This is definitely something that I would enjoy watching someone play. But I mean, 93 was pretty heavy in the point and click era. I mean, it was like, I felt like being a Genesis kid, and the Super Nintendo was still getting a lot of good stuff on there, but it felt like PC was really making a strong argument during this time frame with the point and click adventures and the Looms and the other stuff that came out around that time. So we were eating good. We were eating really good at this time.
Well, and I had a hard time when I was picking this list saying, do I pick Day of the Tentacle or do I pick Sam and Max Hit the Road? Because I mean, both are absolutely fantastic. I did have to go with Sam and Max because I liked that game just, a millimeter more than Day of the Tentacle.
Understandable.
Yeah, compared to Sierra, LucasArts had more of a charm or whimsy to their graphic style that I definitely appreciate. Definitely different, a different kind of point and click adventure. And I haven't played too many of them, but I always want to try Sam Max. I did play Day of the Tentacle, and I like that one. But Sam Max, the character designs are really, really fun. Like when you mentioned it, I'm like, isn't that more new? And then you explained, Telltale did a series on it. So that's probably what I'm remembering.
Yeah, but definitely try out Hit the Road, which was the original. Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, that one's
Those
on
are
Steam
good
too.
Those are strong.
Thanks.
I don't need to look at any other games on Steam, guys. Come on.
Backlog? What backlog?
Yeah. I made the mistake of showing my wife the new Indiana Jones game, so
looks good, actually.
Might have to buy that. Yeah.
Go look at the minimum requirements. It's stalwart.
We'll be just fine here. Just fine.
Yeah,
I don't think my computer can run it. I've not even looked, but I'm guessing my computer can't run it.
I think it requires RTX.
Then I definitely can't run it.
Go. Jake and I are fine.
My kid could, but I can't.
But you know what, though?
I have an
Game
RTX.
Pass goes on. Microsoft's been doing the Game Pass deals for a while now. So if you get that or get Game Pass Ultimate on PC, that lets you do the cloud streaming and just pay the $15 per month to play through it. To play that game for what the reviews are showing how good it is, $15 to play that in the highest quality on cloud streaming, it's totally worth it.
It's not a terrible idea. Anyways, we're completely, again, not on rails.
Yeah.
That's not even a tangent anymore.
No.
Although
LucasArts
thing
though,
you new word for it.
Well, LucasArts did have some fantastic Indiana Jones adventures in that era.
Wasn't there a
bringing
point
it back.
like Indiana Jones adventure back?
What's that? Fate of Atlantis.
Yeah.
Fate of Atlantis. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was even like something action adventure. Don't play that one.
Right. Wolfenstein
All right,
with a
Jake.
whip. Let's go.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us Chard's other pick?
Yeah, please.
Let me tell you about the picks that I researched this week. The Sega Genesis.
No, wait.
So many bangers this year.
Hold on.
Year.
Before you go on a tangent, see, you guys get mad at me because I picked 3. You know why I picked 3? Because I know one of you, Jake, is going to steal one. So before you guys are like, well, maybe we should just do 2. No, I will always have a 3rd in my pocket so I can keep this goddamn show, though it's going off the rails, somewhat on a rail. Not both, but at least one.
Out of all 4 of us, Chard's in that tunnel going straight ahead. Let me tell you, Sega Genesis.
Wings.
People criticize it for not being the system for JRPGs, but they're wrong. In 93, there was a bunch of JRPGs for the Sega Genesis, and they're all freaking bangers. My game of the year for 1993 is Link's Awakening for the Game Boy. Let me tell you how many batteries I burned through for the Game Boy to play Link's Awakening. So many that my mother got pissed at me and refused to buy batteries for, I think, a solid month because I was running through them. I played Link's Awakening on the old school Game Boy, green and spinach screen. You can't see for shit. I didn't have a magnifying glass or a light. I played it the old school way, on the couch in front of the TV. Link's Awakening.
Snow uphill both ways.
That's
Oh,
true
so
too,
a Super
yeah.
Game Boy?
I always wanted one of those. No, Link's Awakening, I've lost count of how many times I've said Link's Awakening is one of my favorite Zelda games. I flip back and forth between this and Link to the Past in terms of being my favorite. But Link's Awakening, I adore. It's fantastic. They somehow took everything I loved about Link to the Past and put it on a small freaking 4-bit screen with the shittiest of colors, but it works. And the soundtrack is so good. I've said before as well, the Game Boy has better sound than it has any right to for such a small device. And Link's Awakening has banger soundtracks, from the theme of the Windfish to just everything. Every dungeon theme, the combat, everything is about that game is so fantastic. I even like the Switch port later on down the road, even if it is running with like a shitty frame rate. But I always kind of have that nostalgia to go back and play Link's Awakening. And I know there's a DX version and it's color. I don't care about that version. I always like playing the original. Something about the old school color palette just hits me the right way. I love that game, from the platforming elements, the items, characters. There's Goombas and Kirby for no fucking reason. You want tangents? Kirby in a Zelda game is a freaking tangent by Nintendo staff. So that game is fantastic. So that's my game of the year.
And the Chain Chomps.
Yeah,
Yes,
which
Chain
is a
Chomps are
dog.
hanging out.
Yeah, you got to take one for a walk, right?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
No, it's a good pick.
Yeah,
That's
Link's
a great pick.
Awakening is amazing. That's a great game.
yeah,
Really
it is. I love that game. I played it on a Game Boy Pocket mostly, I think. I might have played it a little bit on a Super Game Boy because I had one, but I think I mostly played it on a Game Boy Pocket because that was my first Game Boy.
I had the original Game Boy and I had Link's Awakening as well. So I played the hell out of that one as much as I humanly could. Yeah, it's weird what great tunes came out of that Game Boy. I mean,
Yeah.
Tetris's soundtrack is incredible, like hands down. One of the best, most iconic musics out there is Tetris. So you take your epicness of Link's Awakening and put that into tunage. I would love to hear like a remastered, orchestrated version of songs from Link's Awakening. That's not on the Switch, personally. Like an Uematsu
OC
style.
remix.
Yeah,
Probably got you
Yeah.
covered.
For sure.
They probably do. I know where I'm going after the podcast.
Well, like they do
Link's
concerts,
Awakening.
like Nintendo concerts. There was a Zelda concert, I think, in Tokyo a couple years ago. If they ever go on tour of North America, I want to get tickets because Zelda music overall I like quite a bit. Even the games I don't care for in the franchise, I still dig the music. I can't not love the soundtrack. So yeah, it's a great franchise for music.
Good pick.
Yep.
And it wasn't mine. So that's good.
See, I listen sometimes.
It was mine.
It's all for GP. It's a GP pick.
Yeah.
Say, Link's Awakening on the PC.
100%. 100%.
I almost
had,
picked it because earlier this week, Jake was saying that he was talking about Genesis games. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm free to pick a Game Boy game.
No, you're not.
I had to
No,
double
you are
check
not.
with him.
I had a hard time picking two games because I really do want to pick certain Genesis games. Like I was talking on Blue Sky about Pirates Gold. I love that game for a lot of reasons, but I can't sit here and seriously tell you it's game of the year or even a honorable mention. As much as I love Pirates Gold and how that's like the definitive version, it doesn't hang with everything else we've talked about this episode. But there's a lot of good Genesis games in '93, like lot of.
I thought you were going Shining Force 2. That's where my head was.
Or
at.
Yeah, that was
Phantasy
another
Star
one where I
4.
almost.
Wow.
I'd love to pick Phantasy Star 4, but I want to save something for GP next time he comes on the podcast.
Yeah, nice one. We'll do a 1993 Redux.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I'll go ahead and guess I pick mine. My next, my game of the year for 1993 is absolutely hands down a game that is played on consoles that's super great. I'm actually picking Phantasy Star 4 because Phantasy Star 4 is fucking great. It's an amazing game. Phantasy Star 4 is the strongest out of the series in my opinion. I thought the first three were kind of piecing it together and had some good bits all to it, but it felt like 4 had everything you needed and just smashed it all into a really good game. It's got great tunes, great characters, great battle system. I love the combination spell system where you can have 2 players cast one spell and it turns into one major thing. The sprite work on it was really cool. I really liked the portraits of the different characters, the cyborgs and the different robots that you play in. And it's fantasy in the future, so guns and swords, like it's the whole nine. You get to fly to different planets. You're taking on weird deities. You're fighting all evil. The void fight, the big fight at the end, the sprite work for that is absolutely gorgeous artwork. I am absolutely floored by all the work that they did on that. I am proud to say that I do have the badge for Phantasy Star 4 when we streamed it some months ago. So we're talking years now, but great game. The dog soundtrack for that town is one of the greatest songs in the entire thing. I love Phantasy Star 4, and I have to give it. This was the game that I have said on numerous occasions. I was trying to find something that would fill my Final Fantasy void because I couldn't have it on the Sega Genesis, and Phantasy Star was the game that I picked to fill that void, and I bought it many years ago, and then returned it because at the time when I bought it in '93, it was $90, $80 to $90. Because RPGs back in the day, they're stupid priced. So that bad boy got reshelved, and I had to wait years later to cook it back up and try it and play it again. So, but Phantasy Star was incredible. I wore the magnet out on that cartridge from Bel Air because I rented it from that place so freaking much.
Yeah, you're not wrong about the price. I remember when I bought it, it was probably around $110, something stupid up here when I was a kid. I bought it. I was going to say online. I bought it from a catalog, so mail order, because none of the stores carried it. I guess in my area, the Genesis didn't get the same level of attention as SNES and Nintendo, so I had to order it through a catalog to get it. And one of my favorite games on the system, hands down. I mean, we're just talking banger soundtracks. That is some of the best music on the Genesis, and I think I like it better than some of the music on the SNES even. I think the Phantasy Star 4 soundtrack is iconic. I played that one first of the entire franchise, but if you played the entire series from the very first one on the Master System and worked your way through to the fourth one, the story kind of loops together in a way that I appreciate. 3 is kind of a side story, but it still kind of ties in. But I really dig that whole loop of the story if you're into it. But if you've never played the other ones and you've only played 4, you're still good. It tells you all the main plot points, and it's still a standalone story, holds up. But yeah, the graphics are so good. I'm with you on the battle system. Is very tight and fast. I really like it. Like I did eventually go back and play 2 and later 3. They're okay, but when we're comparing like RPGs on various systems, ain't nobody mentioning Phantasy Star 3. Nobody. Like that game was so empty, and there's parts of it I like, but it's such a dead game compared to 4. And then 2, I just found bullshit hard for no reason. So like 4 is like a perfect game on the Genesis. The rest of the franchise I could take or leave it as long as I have 4. But yeah,
it's really colorful too. There's a lot of color in Phantasy Star 4. It's really bright. It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a franchise I gotta play through at some point. I absolutely loved Phantasy Star Online, and that I went into that knowing I was going to enjoy it because I enjoyed what I had played of the Phantasy Star games, but I never owned any of them as a kid. So when I got to play that on Dreamcast, I was like, this is awesome. And I went all in on it. Like I probably spent hundreds and hundreds of hours playing that. It's stupid. I
couldn't strongly recommend an RPG on the Sega Genesis as much as Phantasy Star 4 easily.
And I played through 1. So I need to go back and play through that as a franchise, just like barrel through the 4 of them in a row.
Don't get hung up on 2. 2 can be a killer.
Use a guide.
Well,
there's parts of 2 where you just need a guide.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I have all 4 of them on the Xbox Genesis collection.
Nice.
Okay.
Or I also have the Genesis Mini, which I think has 2, 3, and 4. And then I think 2, 3, and 4 are also I have on Steam. So I've got them all over the place. I just need to play them.
One of those package compilations actually includes a map with the second game, I believe, like as an add-on to it. I think it was it might be the Steam one or the Xbox one has a map, and that would be invaluable because I had to look up maps online when I was playing through 2. Like there was one dungeon where you had to go outside the walls to get where you're going. Spoilers, but it was very annoying to figure that out. It took me an hour.
Well, now
I
you
felt
know.
like, yeah, now I know. So
I do remember when I would see Phantasy Star 4 on the shelves at the store, I'd be like, I'm so interested in getting it, but not at that price point.
Oh man,
Pretty sure there were numerous times I'd go into the store to buy a game.
I had never
and
been more guilty.
I'd have the money to buy it, but I'd be like, but I don't want to spend all my money.
Yeah.
So one time I think I walked out with Illusion of Gaia instead of Phantasy Star 4. Another time, there was something. It might have been Secret of Evermore.
Yeah. Illusion of Gaia, I think, was a '93 game too. As a matter of fact,
It
I
was.
saw that on the list. Yeah.
okay.
That and Secret of Mana, Jake's favorite Mana game of all time.
Nobody. No, don't tell lies. Don't spread that vicious rumor. Final Fantasy Adventure is the best Secret of Mana game. Come on.
Stop stealing my games, and I'll stop spreading the lies.
Hey, you just stole GP's pick by taking Phantasy Star 4. That was being saved for GP. I put that aside for him, and you just yoinked it out to put it here on the podcast this week, and that's okay.
Call me an a-hole.
All right, so Wolf, what's your game of the year?
Well, Char just did to me what I did to him. I'm picking Secret of Mana.
Oh shit.
So it worked out.
Well, that's called a segue.
Yeah. So I absolutely love the shit out of Secret of Mana. That is still probably one of my favorite games I've ever played. I remember as a kid, we would play 3-player Secret of Mana all the time on Super Nintendo because one of us had a multi-tap. So we'd be like, all right, let's play some Secret of Mana 3-player. And it would be such a good time and such a frustrating time because there was always somebody getting stuck on the corner somewhere and the other two had to come back and allow them out. But
Yep, nice.
it was a lot of fun.
I love Secret of Mana. It's a great game.
Yeah, the entire soundtrack is amazing. The sprite art in that game is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. The story is epic as hell, if not a little odd at points.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning is they treat you. You're this raised in
It's
this
harsh.
village, and you touch a sword, and they exile you because you touch something.
Like exiled.
It's nuts.
I was exiled for touching something too.
Wow. Fuleo Couché avec moi.
I hope that was
Sent you
not
at
your
the
high
tunnel.
school nickname.
It wasn't.
Fuck.
I never went to high school.
No. The truth shall set you free. No, Secret of Mana is a great game. This is another one that I went on a rope and badged as well. I really do enjoy this game. This game's a lot of fun. All the hate Jake gives it isn't warranted. It plays great. It has great controls. I love the way it handles. I like the charge system with the attacks. I love the different weapons that you find and you can level up and make them beefier and cooler looking and do more shit. The spell system I like the little spin wheel. I like when you pause and you pull up the wheel and it has all those the cool selections you can do. At first I thought it was going to be tedious, but it turned out to be pretty streamlined pretty well. Like once you get used to kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Sprite work. I love the location that has the 4 seasons in it. That you would run around, and when I used to do D&D, my world that I created as a dungeon master had that 4 seasons in it that I stole from Secret of
Nice.
Mana because I thought that was a really interesting design. And the dragon's cool as hell. The dragon you get to fly around on.
Yeah.
Super dope.
Yeah, that's
Flammy's
neat.
dope.
Yeah.
So there's always a square game. You always get some kind of flying creature or flying ship of some sort. And I was wondering what they'd give you, and they gave you a goddamn dragon. So, and he's cool. He looks like a little dog. So he's cute.
And they even put in that little cutscene every time you summon him.
Yeah.
So you see him come flying out from in front of the sun and he swoops down and picks you up. That was so cool at the time.
It was definitely mode 7 at its finest.
Falcor. Oh wait.
And
sorry.
a weird thing is, I believe that map, the world map for that, was actually a globe. And so it was really easy to get yourself screwed up and lost.
Mm-hmm. It's a few temples I think it spent hours trying to figure out where the hell they were, and you'd fly past it. I'm like, what? How did I get down to this area? I've literally been trying to find this little island in the middle. Where the hell am I? And
Yeah, I'd be
fly,
like, all right, it's
just
that
go
way. And I
north.
start going, completely miss it somehow. And it's like, I went
Completely.
straight. So it was not a rectangular map the way they usually are, at least when traversing it for some reason. Still never figured out what the deal with that was, but
that's hilarious. I'm glad
That's the
you
thing
brought
with
that up.
modern games, right? We have quest logs when you're playing RPGs these days. It tells you what you need to do and where to go, like, especially if you're not playing a game straight, if you're only playing an hour or two here and there. Otherwise, it's just really easy to get lost. In the classic RPGs, you had none of that hand holding, right? If you put it down for a week, you don't remember where you were going, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
So, Secret of Mana is fine. I don't hate it. It's just the combat. I don't like the normal attack system. Like the having to charge up to do any kind of damage, that part kind of bothered me. Although the magic system is really dope. I really like the magic system, the summons. That stuff's really cool. The artwork is stunning. The graphics are great. So I don't hate it. I just don't like the combat. It's not one I think I can go through and play again.
There it is.
There it is.
Bingo.
For those that are listening to the podcast, we just had the Secret of Mana strategy guide thrown up.
The Bradley guide right there.
that is, the Brady games.
Brady
I think.
games.
Brady, not Bradley.
Gosh.
Brady. It's been a week.
Or is this Prima? Where does it say?
Oh, it could
On
be
the
Prima.
spine.
I always said it Prima.
I said Prima too.
It's
It's not
Prima
Donna.
it's Prima.
Okay.
There you go.
So it's Prima. The weird thing about this strategy guide is it's all written as if it's telling the story of the game. So it's not like just go here and do this. It's like they went here
That's
and
cool.
did this. It's
See,
kind of
that-
wild. So you can read
that's
it
some
like
good
it's a
immersion.
novel.
The hint book that you could have bought for Bard's Tale was written from a prior adventurer's like tale too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right,
Yep.
Sinistar.
Okay.
Bring
Well-
up the rear. What do you got?
Well, I told Jake a game I was going to pick, and I realized if I didn't change it, it was going to do a huge disservice to a game that needs to be on the 1993 list. 94, 93.
93. Don't worry, I already put Doom.
No. I have to pick this one because if I don't, oh, sorry, no, we're on 94 or 93.
We're
Sorry.
on 93, dork.
Okay. All right, then I'm,
93.
What are you
All
pulling,
right, I'm
Jake?
going-
It's 93.
Sorry. I'm going with my same pick. We'll go to 94 and I'll bring this one up. But my pick is actually SimCity 2000.
No.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which in the SimCity franchise is the GOAT. I mean they've tried to duplicate it. And they just haven't. So I mean it took SimCity, which was, you had blocks that placed, this is a commercial zone, this is a residential zone, to being able to kind of design and build those to the size that you wanted. It added on top of electricity, it added sewer, it added water, it added all of that. It had multiple layers, so you had terraforming. It was an epic game. So if you haven't played the SimCity games, it's building a city,
Right.
managing a
Yeah, I
city.
think some of the features we take for granted in modern city building games probably originated because of SimCity 2000, right? Like you're right, it's definitely up there.
Yeah.
I did not play that one, but you got to respect what it led to for other city builders. And I guess SimCity 4 wasn't bad, but then the modern
wasn't
SimCity
bad.
people didn't like. But yeah, SimCity 2000 is always the one that people say was like definitely the peak of the franchise.
Yeah.
We did a
So
whole episode about these guys, right? Like we did. You
Yeah.
talked incessantly about SimCity 2000, I believe.
yeah, and so we don't need to rehash a whole bunch of it, but the soundtrack is absolutely fantastic as well. I mean, the Max's soundtracks from the SimCity games are epically, like, you hear them and you're like, that's a SimCity game.
Right.
What's
Yeah.
funny is when was it 6 Feet Under, the intro song to 6 Feet Under, I think, like the HBO series. I'm like,
Yeah.
was that written by the same guy that did the SimCity
Oh,
games?
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It sounds very much like a SimCity, like,
Okay.
yeah.
Huh.
So, yeah, I don't know if it was, but it sounds very much like that. So, yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah, that's right. Yep.
are you listening
I
to
would
it?
agree with that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. When I first heard that, I was like, man, that has to be the same guy that did. If I remember right, it actually might have been Stuart Copeland that did this intro to from the Police, the drummer from the Police. But not SimCity, but 6 Feet Under. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's a total tangent. We're on target.
Yeah. Well, according to Google's AI answer, which could be completely baseless, it's Thomas Newman.
I don't know.
So if I
Okay.
dig further, I could find out. But
Thomas Newman is the less famous brother of Randy Newman.
yeah, it's a jungle out there.
Have y'all seen the Family Guy that makes fun
takes
of
a
that?
long look at Randy.
Anyway,
Wow.
so yeah, as far as I'm concerned, in the SimCity franchise, it is the GOAT. I mean, yes, SimCity 4 wasn't bad. SimCity 3000 wasn't bad either. But for all the picks, SimCity 2000 kind of really defined where that game went.
Nice. That's a good call.
Mm.
Actually, after that episode, I went and got, I think, one of the SimCity games. So 'cause
Nice.
you guys hyped it up so damn much. So
Nice. And if you want to play a modern take, pick up City Skylines, the first one, not the second one.
Yeah.
I hope that second one gets patched over the next couple of years because I really like that first City Skylines and there's a lot there. I was kind of disappointed they kind of rushed that second one out.
Yeah. All right, is it time to throw out all of our honorable mentions because this year was so epic?
There's
man.
so many.
There were a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
So
two
we're getting a
real
third?
quick.
No, I was being
Oh, okay.
facetious.
I mean, we don't have
You
to
could
talk
do it
about
anyway.
them.
Shake.
I can toss them out. Yeah, honestly, like Shining Force 2. How can you not like Shining Force 2? That's the other big RPG for the Sega Genesis. So much better than the first game. Story is great. Count like dozens of characters. Combat is very fun, very snappy. Love that one.
Peter.
Yeah.
Gotta love
Master
Peter.
of Orion.
Yeah.
Orion.
Yeah.
One of
Kirby's
the original
Adventure.
Space
Yeah.
4X games.
Illusion of Gaia. I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus. But it felt like this time of year. I mean, you guys probably didn't give a shit about it, but Mutant Football League was one of my favorite fucking sports games
Oh,
growing up. And I'm the Sega Genesis, and I used to play the hell out of Mutant Football League. That was an ultra violent take on standard football where there would be landmines in the middle of the field and your players would literally die and explode. And you could tackle, but you would also like rip people in half while you tackled. It was like Wizard's chess from Harry Potter.
Or
It was
like
absolutely totally overly aggressive and exaggerated. I love it.
or like the Warhammer football like game. I can't remember
Yeah.
what, but yeah.
Oh,
Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like Blood Bowl. Which I have
Yeah, we
actually
used-
played the tabletop version. I have played that in person.
Oh wow.
Nice.
I was gonna mention oddly, Super Mario All Stars came out in '93.
Which
Yeah, we
gave
mentioned
us
that one.
which gave us Lost Levels, right? It was the first
Yes.
experience.
Right. So it gave a lot of kids who didn't have a Nintendo those 3 games from the Nintendo on the Super Nintendo, and then also brought over one more game that nobody in the West had played before. So everybody was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Super Mario Brothers 2, aka Lost Levels, aka
Yeah.
Japanese Super Mario Brothers 2.
I mean, fan of Press B to Cancel, fan favorite Cool Spot came out.
Mm.
Those of you who remember that episode.
Yeah,
Sonic
this-
CD, the less known, still pretty decent Sonic game that came out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, this was a banger year.
Toe Jam and
Oh,
Earl,
yeah.
Panic and Funkatron,
That one was
Mega
fun.
Man
Ooh,
4.
that
on the
game's not
Game
that great.
Boy. I know it's terrible, but I'm
There's
just
one
saying it's
franchise we don't talk very much about. Actually, I don't even know if we've talked about it at all on Press B. Is the Strike series on the Genesis, and that was 93 is when Urban Strike came out. The opening level
Oh,
has you
yeah,
flying
I
your
was just gonna,
flying your
yeah,
helicopter.
Jungle Strike, Urban Strike, yeah, fuck
Yeah, you're flying your helicopter around Washington D.C. taking down terrorists, and you can blow up monuments and shit and get yelled at. But the controls of the helicopter was always great in those games, right? Where you
Yeah.
can strafe and all that. I love those games quite a bit. I rented a few back in the day, and yeah, Urban Strike was one of the best ones. I loved Urban Strike.
Mist came out in 93.
Mist? Oh, we didn't even talk about Mist.
DuckTales
Epic
2.
Pinball, Lemmings 2, The
Yeah.
Tribes. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Super Street Fighter 2, Super Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back.
just
I mean,
banger year. Banger year.
It's great because
So,
you
Of
have
course, Jurassic
you have
Park.
SNES, Genesis at their peak, right? And then you also have
Yeah.
the last year of Nintendo was there as well. And then Game Boy was getting full swing of things, right? You had all these great consoles all at once releasing fantastic games. So it's
Yeah.
definitely
And DOS was running strong.
yes.
I
Holy
would be
crap.
remiss if I did not mention Tecmo Super Bowl for GP.
There you go.
On
It's a
this
GP
list.
pick. Honestly,
is
he probably would have
definitely-
picked Tecmo Super Bowl and
Yeah.
Mega Man X would probably be his two picks. I guarantee you. We'll have to check
Indiana
on that.
Lufia and the Fortress of Doom.
That one, yeah. That one. Uh-huh.
Wolf's laughing because he knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Cannon
Anyways,
Fodder,
yeah.
great game. Yeah.
Great games.
Anyway.
There's some really good shit that's out there. 93 was definitely a good year. And I believe I was 11 years old at the time. So I was in my peak gaming childhood thing.
That was the year I found Final Fantasy IV.
It's a
Okay.
good time.
Depending on the time of year, I was either a junior or a senior in high school.
Yeah.
If I'd gone to high school.
We're going to keep that alive.
Just got to build that lore somehow.
Yeah.
How we do this.
It's a really big box that Sinistar lives in there.
Exactly. Well, gentlemen, this has been a lot of fun.
As it always is. Even when you
Yeah.
get your shit stolen from you in the middle of your goddamn episode.
For GP, it's for GP. I don't
Well,
know why I'm getting this hate. It was for him. It was his picks. We all know it was his picks. Don't you listen to
Oh my
MP's
gosh.
chart? Jesus, like if he said it a
I
couple
don't
weeks ago.
I don't speak French.
You know, it's okay. Neither do I.
All right. Wolf, bring us home, baby.
Yeah. Well, that has been this episode. We have shared our games. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please check us out at pressbtocancel.com or pressb.org. You can find the links to our Discord or social media presences there. We are also part of the SuperPod Network. You can check them out at, was it superpod.com?
SuperPodNetwork.com.
SuperPodNetwork.com. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't recall this week. I was horribly unprepared for this. I apologize.
Well, I think we were all mildly, horribly unprepared for this
Yeah.
whole week. So,
It's been a week.
can you tell?
Yes.
This has been one
Like,
of our schizophrenic
subscribe.
episodes.
Yeah. Do it
Tell
again,
your friends.
Jared, Douglas,
Yeah.
all of you.
Tell your
Start
friends.
calling out names at random. Just
I'm looking at you,
Jonathan. It's on you this week.
Courtney.
Go to the,
Look, Spartacus.
Courtney. Perfect. All right.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Do a barrel roll.